Hi, I'm Cheng. Welcome to Game Support. Today I'll be answering questions from Twitter on video games. Alright, let's go. First question from Fizz. What is esports? And what differs esports from video games? Seriously, how lazy do you have to be to instead of just search it up, you tweet about it? So, esports is also known as electronic sports. It is a term for competitive video game tournaments or events among professional gamers and streamers, like the NBA for basketball players. The first esports tournament took place on 19th October 1972 at Stanford University. So you can see that esports is still a relatively new field where a lot of issues exist. Basically, to answer your question, the essential difference between esports and video games is the level of competition, organization, and representation among players. I think it's important to see esports as a reflection of the current video game industry. Because unlike other traditional sports, the platform for esports is ultimately the internet, so issues with the internet would also exist in esports, such as cyberbullying. So in a way, they're inseparable because to address issues within esports, we have to look at the ordinary players as well. Next question from Ayumi. Are women minorities in esports? Why is that? That's a good question. So a common misconception that people tend to have is that women don't play video games, and they're probably minorities in esports. In fact, 48% of women in the United States report having played a video game. But most of them simply refuse to identify themselves as one, because gamers and even video game companies still hold a prejudiced misconception that females are always in need of help. In 1981, Nintendo released a Super Mario game where the objective was to rescue a young princess named Peach from being kidnapped and trapped in a castle. By 2013, Peach had appeared in 14 of the main Super Mario games and was kidnapped in 13 of them. On the other hand, in multiplayer games, where players interact with one another, female characters are often given supporting roles. In 33 games on Nintendo and Genesis game consoles, 10 games did not have a female character in either the leading part or a supporting role. While in the other 23 games, 85% of the female characters were in a supporting position, assisting the leading male character. By portraying women as vulnerable and dependent, video game companies fostered the idea of androcentrism, placing a masculine point of view at the center of players' views, which reinforces the gender stereotypes and discrimination against women. And that is why it seems like females are minorities in esports. Next question from ADC. How could one argue that there is gender inequality in esports when cyberbullying has always been an issue on the internet, and perhaps it has nothing to do with gender at all? Well, first of all, there are actually statistics showing that when women participate in esports, they face consistent criticism and harassment. In 2012, a study of the Ohio University showed that the same person playing Halo 3 online with a male and a female profile using recorded voice messages received 3 times more negative comments as with a female profile, despite similar scores. Additionally, you might think that people are more likely to attack others online because everyone's anonymous, but that is not the case. Maria Remalia Krevlin was a professional esports athlete who happened to be a transgender woman. After making the pro scene with her team in 2015, she received numerous sexist and transphobic harassment from social media and other esports athletes, criticizing her appearance, gender, and skills. A few weeks later, Krevlin left the team due to anxiety and self-esteem issues, and she hasn't returned to the pro scene ever since. These harassments are good examples of gender inequality as they suppress the female groups and push them out of the gaming community. Alright, next question. Does gender inequality really exist? Considering that some female gamers receive way more attention and donations than male gamers. First of all, it is certainly true that there are a lot of successful female gamers out there, but unfortunately for female esports athletes, it is mostly about their looks that matter. There are actually 2 female esports teams from the same organization, one with skill and one with looks. The team with looks captured the majority of the attention and quickly replaced the team with skills. Because people are more willing to pay attention and invest money in female gamers that are good looking, the focus of esports organizations has shifted from training athletes for competition to creating good images for marketing and promotions. Such shift creates gender inequality, as it not only denies skilled female athletes from stepping into the mainstream, but also helps support the prejudiced misconception that there is no skilled female in esports. Last question from Bonnie. Is there anything we can do about gender equality in esports? To start, I think we have to first realize that there are still issues in esports, and gender equality does exist. And then perhaps those in power, like tournament organizers, wealthy corporations, and popular gaming companies, could start spreading awareness and make an impact on ordinary players. Alright, I think that's it for today's game support. Have a good day.